Welcome to SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown. From East River to West River, high school to college to the pros. This is your sports talk show that covers it all. And now on Kim Radio, talk that matters. The host of SD Sports Buzz Tonight, here's Nate Brown.
Well, hi again, everybody. Welcome back into South Dakota's live and local sports talk radio program. Hope everybody's staying warm midweek. If it's Wednesday night, it's SD Sports Buzz Tonight, presented by Save-A-Lot Food Store. Save-A-Lot for the best prices on groceries in Rapid City. Save-A-Lot, East St. Patrick Street in Rapid City. Locked and loaded on the lineup tonight. Let's get to it. Nate Brown back with you, and always glad you're part of the program. A lot of basketball talk tonight, no question about it. Also going to dip into the new executive director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association, Dr. Dan Swartos. He is the superintendent at McCook Central Montrose, and he's the guy, the final three candidates were interviewed, and Dr. Dan Swartos named to head up the South Dakota High School Activities Association, and many challenges there, many issues moving forward for the Activities Association with a lot of topics, and I want to get to those with Dr. Dan Swartos. He'll join us live tonight, the superintendent at McCook Central Montrose, taking over for Wayne Carney. Wayne Carney, I do believe, has been to the Activities Association since 2001. So he's been there for a while, overseeing things, and now retiring. Getting into the lineup, let's give you the guests and break things down. Some big basketball games coming up this weekend. There's no doubt keeping our eye on this matchup tomorrow, Sturgis St. Thomas More. Really interesting to me when you look at Sturgis, the success they've had, and, of course, the powerhouse that St. Thomas More has been and really is. St. Thomas More, Sturgis tomorrow. We'll get a preview from head coach of the Cavaliers, Dave Hollenbeck. He's coming up shortly. Also, Sturgis head coach Colin McCampbell on tonight. We'll talk to him about it. The Rapid City Stevens boys continue to play well at a high level. They do lose to O'Gorman this past weekend after the win over Roosevelt. Then the Raiders lose to O'Gorman in a tight one. Great basketball game, and I'm impressed with the basketball fans. By the way, Rapid City sports fans out there going to, Rapid City Stevens in a big way. And it goes to what I've been saying. You have success, consistent success. People are going to love it. People are going to support that. We see that not only in a lot of towns, but Rapid City's kind of one of those towns you gotta be a winner. People come out, the casual fans come out, and the Raiders have been bringing in some pretty good crowds, and people were entertained this past Saturday. A tight one for the Raider boys as they get set. Their game against Pierre gets canceled this week because of the snow yesterday, but they get set for Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Is always a pretty good program. And then, of course, the rivalry coming up next week with Rapid City Central. We'll talk to head coach of the Raider boys, Chris Stabner, on the program tonight. Also, Jason Henry joins us. The Hard Rocker men's basketball team is right in the thick of the postseason tournament run. They've got a month left, and the Hard Rockers at home this weekend, Friday and Saturday, RMAC Conference basketball against Western State out of Gunnison, Colorado, and Colorado Mesa on Saturday out of Grand Junction, Colorado. Two big conference games for the Hard Rocker men, who sit 10-10. And on the verge of the postseason tournament, Jason Henry will join us. Also going to go out East River, talk to USD true freshman, former St. Thomas More All-Stater and Basketball Player of the Year, Kira Duffy. Kira Duffy making an impact right away on this good USD women's Coyote team. I mean, this USD women's basketball team is really, really good. Young players making an impact right away. Kira Duffy's one of them in a big way. They're 17-3. And really looking at a good run, trying to get into the NCAA tournament again. They did that a couple of years ago, and then, of course, very successful in the NIT last year. Kira Duffy will join us for the first time in a long time since she's been out at USD making an impact. And also Richard Anderson, Rapid City Journal sports writer. Richard Anderson coming on the program tonight. Glad to have you a part of the show. We always start with some of the big news, and I'll tell you, this is really interesting to me. This has caught my attention, and a lot of people talking about this. As a matter of fact, they had a meeting at the South Dakota High School Activities Association that the football landscape and the layout and the classes may be getting another change. The football classification here in South Dakota. We've talked about it a lot on this program where 7 classes right now, a lot of 11-man, 3 classes in 9-man, and I've made it my case where we need to really eliminate some classes. I really do believe that. I don't think we necessarily need to change the whole 11 AAA scenario. That was the early argument with all the big schools. There's only 8, 9 teams in the big school class, and you look at, does that really make for an exciting season? It's the Sioux Falls and the have-nots. At least it has been that way. But I don't think we need to tweak that. I think there needs to be other tweaks, especially at the 9-man level. And apparently I'm not the only one. There's talk now, and they've had a meeting and a discussion. It's been on meeting agendas of looking at 6-man football here in South Dakota. I don't know if you're familiar with this. I'm very familiar with it. I didn't play 6-man. I played 11-man throughout my high school career in Montana. But when I was in Montana, they started 6-man football way back in the day. And I'm not too old, but, I go back a little ways. They started 6-man football back in Montana a while ago. They have it in Colorado, Wyoming, some of these similar surrounding states. Big rural states, for the most part. Not a lot of population, especially in Wyoming. Colorado's a different story because of Denver and some cities there. But Wyoming, not a lot of population. Everybody's spread out, trying to figure out how these small towns, these small schools are going to field football teams. And I saw this coming for a while here in South Dakota. You could really see it coming. Look at all of these towns that have just lost enrollment. I mean, South Dakota population centers are out here West River, and it really has been. Rapid City, Sturgis, Spearfish, this whole corridor out here. We're on an island, and then it's Sioux Falls and that I-29 corridor up to Watertown, Aberdeen, that whole scenario. And in between, South Central, North Central, Central South Dakota, there's not a lot going on there. I mean, this is spread out, and small towns are having a tough time. There have been 11-man powerhouse programs like Howard. Howard used to be a great football program in 11-man football here in South Dakota. If you remember this, they're down to 9-man. Barely trying to make their way through 9-man, for example, is Howard right now. There have been teams that have dropped out of 11 into 9, and now there's a lot of teams in 9-man football that are having to co-op just to stay viable, just to field a varsity football team. And by the way, it's important, right? We kind of get lost, I think, in the shuffle here. Think about these small schools, the pride. If you're from a small town, you understand what I'm talking about here. A lot of you folks that may be listening, maybe from South Dakota, some small towns in South Dakota, you understand what I'm talking about. The pride of your school, your community. High school football, Friday night, South Dakota, it's a big thing. It's a big deal. It has been. And then think about the scenario where there's still a lot of kids that want to experience this and have this great experience of being a part of a program, being a part of the tradition. But there's not enough kids. So now the 9-man schools have to figure out, okay, are we going to co-op with this town over here that, by the way, used to be a rival in most cases, used to be a rival, and used to be somebody we used to have some historic games with. Now we got to figure out the logistics of practice, games. Some of these towns 25, 30 miles away, which I get into South Dakota, not too far, but think about that whole scenario there. Trying to figure out how to make it work just to stay in the 9-man class. So I like this discussion. And by the way, one of the guys leading it is Mr. Shower up there, Doug Shower, who's the athletic director at Faith, the Faith Longhorns. By the way, Mr. Shower, a great basketball coach for the Faith Longhorns as well. He's had some state tournament experience, by the way, year after year. Doug Shower's the AD at Faith, and he's one of the guys that's really a proponent of 6-man football. The agendas here. Let's get it on the docket. Start thinking about, is this a possibility? There are some factors, by the way, that would really possibly hinder this idea. A couple of major factors. Number one, are there enough schools geographically, by the way, close by, that would field 6-man teams that would make this an option? Because we talk about how spread out and how the population isn't great. Well, you could have a six-man team way out in southwestern South Dakota, for example, or northwestern South Dakota, a team that has to go to six-man. Are there enough teams around here, close by, from here on over? Are there? Or would it be just a disaster? Traveling nightmare, scheduling nightmare. That's one of the major factors that they're looking at right now. But on the plus side, I will tell you, six-man football, I think, should be an option here in South Dakota. They've made it work. Montana's a really big state. Spread out populations as well. They've made it work really well. There's a lot of six-man teams in Montana. There's a lot of six-man teams. The classes they have up there, think about this, 6-man, 8-man, and 11-man. So here in South Dakota, we'd go down this road, 6-man, 9-man, and 11. And I'll give you my suggestion of how you can break this out. We need to get rid of one of the 9-man classes. That would add to the 6-man opportunities. It really would. And I know a lot of the 9-man schools are going to say, I want to play 9-man football. Well, there's some teams playing 9-man football that are having to throw in freshmen, 115-pound freshmen just getting pounded because they don't have enough guys. And you can say what you want. Well, we want to stay 9-man. We want to play 9-man. We have enough numbers. Now you got a bunch of freshmen out there just to make sure you're fielding a 9-man team. So you got to get rid of a 9-man class, as even though some of the schools don't want to do it. That would give you more 6-man football opportunities. It would make it a better experience all the way around for experienced players. It would make it an opportunity for teams that don't have to co-op, that you could field your own team. A better situation all the way around. 6-man class, okay, you have one of them. 1 6-man, I think you get away with 2 9-man classes, I think, and then you'd still go with an 11-man class. You combine A and B, you'd have an 11A, an 11AA, and 11 AAA. So I would get rid of 11B. You'd have 6-man, 1 class, 2 9-man, and 3 11-man. AAA, AA, and A. That's the scenario that I think would really put things together very nicely. 6 classes of high school football, 6-man football. Could it be coming to South Dakota? It sure seems like they're trying to move this forward for a potential early start date of 2019. Get it all together. Could they get schedules? Could they get enough people behind this? They've sent out a survey, secret survey, confidential survey to the athletic directors around the state to see if this would really be an option. I think it's a good discussion to have. I really do. That's where South Dakota needs to go. As a matter of fact, Nebraska just bringing back South Dakota just bringing back 6-man football next year, 2018. Nebraska's going back to it. They used to have it. They went away from it. Now they're back to it. These rural states, I'm telling you, and you know it, we got to figure something out here. The numbers are going down. The experiences are getting worse. The co-op scenarios are getting harder and harder, and the travel and all that stuff that goes into it. Look at 6-man football. It makes sense. Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska. We wouldn't be the only ones. We need to get plugged in on how it works. There's some good models out there in similar states. Keep an eye on this thing. I think it'll continue to develop. 6-man high school football could be coming to South Dakota. We come back and talk to Richard Anderson, our first guest tonight on SD Sports Buzz tonight. Richard Anderson with the Rapid City Journal, talking local sports next.
And 200, 2 and a quarter, 2 to the bid, 20 bomb, 50, money get 250 here, no 75, 275 now, 3.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson Auction Company. We can turn your property to cash. We can sell your personal property and your real estate at auction. A family business for 64 years and counting. We've sold several millions of dollars in property over the years. We're happy to consult with you on your auction plans. Let our selling experience work for you. Call McPherson Auction, 605-348-1369. Visit us on our web at McPhersonAuction.com.
Sold it here for $575.
How would you like to have your crown in 2 hours instead of 2 visits? Hi, this is Dr. Eldon Rice with Rice Area Dental in Rapid City. Technology is changing, and at Rice Area Dental, we are keeping up by using the latest state-of-the-art equipment. We offer crowns in hours instead of days. No more temporaries, no more multiple visits, no messy dental impressions, just same-day restorations.
Call us at 342-RICE. That's 342-7423. Dr. Rice Area Dental on Canyon Lake Drive, the dentist that makes you smile.
Quality and service first. Mel's Auto Body. Get a drive-through estimate or come on in. We're right here under the big red M. Over 30 years, our family has put quality and service first. We take pride in making sure you're satisfied. Quality and service first. Mel's Auto Body.
You've got it locked on South Dakota's sports talk show, SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown on Kim Radio. Talk that matters.
And we're back on SD Sports Buzz Tonight. Glad you're a part of the program. Nate Brown live, 106.7 FM, Kim Talk Radio. Coming up, Dave Hollenbeck, St. Thomas More head boys basketball coach, and Colin McCampbell, the Sturgis head coach. It's a matchup I've got my eye on tomorrow night. Sturgis, St. Thomas More boys basketball tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Also this weekend, Hard Rocker basketball back at the King Center. South Dakota Mines men 10-10, right in the thick of the postseason hunt for the RMAC tournament. Big weekend coming up for Jason Henry, head coach of the Hard Rocker men's basketball team. He'll join us live straight ahead. And also the new executive director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association. He'll take over in July, but he's been named already. Dr. Dan Swartos. He is going to the Activities Association in Pierre by way of superintendent at McCook Central Montrose, which he's finishing out the school year. We'll talk to him about the position, the challenges, all the things moving forward with the Activities Association. First things first, on the Mel's Auto Body Sportsline Rapid City Journal's Richard Anderson. Richard, how are you?
I'm doing well, Nate. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I want to get this out of the way here. I mean, you're a busy guy down there. You're covering games. You're putting things together. Are you the editor? I mean, are you running the show now down there? Or are they just telling you running the show?
Well, let's just put it this way. I do. I'm kind of in charge of the sports pages, but I am officially not the sports editor.
Okay, you're official in my book, though. I will put you.
Yeah,
I will put you on that category, okay? I don't know if that's going to help you much. By the way, covering a lot of games, I want to get your take on the high school scene here a little bit right away. I've said this before, as I had you on earlier. The Rapid City Stevens boys, we started in boys basketball. Rapid City Stevens boys, I said at the beginning of the year, with their two guards, Jacob Martin and Mason Archambault, those two guys, the best guard tandem, I think, in the state. They're going to provide a lot of excitement, great play. And Rapid City Stevens, I think, can play with anybody. As you've seen them, and your reporters have seen them, what do you think, Rapid City Stevens boys?
Well, I agree with you. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that this is a team that can challenge for a state title. Best guard, duo in the state, no doubt. They've got two dynamite players, and they'll go as far as those two go, and they're not perfect. They could use a couple big guys down low, and they don't really have that, and will struggle at times against teams that can take advantage of it. Now they have to take advantage of their quickness and their guard play, and it can't offset it, but it can. It all depends on the game and the matchup sometimes. But yeah, they're right in there.
I want to. I wonder about Stevens. Is your feeling that this team can win any game, but, and I hate to say this, lose any game because of, are they going to rely on the outside shot? Do they rely on the outside shot as much as people think they do?
Well, I think when they're like anybody. I mean, when that shot's going, they're just really, really good. Do they rely on it? Probably a little bit. I thought maybe late in that game against O'Gorman, I don't think they really relied on it. The shots just didn't fall, and when your outside shot doesn't fall and you don't have the big trees underneath, you're one and done, and that hurts you. So they're going to have to find maybe a couple other ways to score in other areas. But, I think they have the ability. I mean, you either shoot that three-pointer or you take it to the rim. And, I think they're, very effective when they can do both.
They're pretty athletic all the way around. Talking to Richard Anderson, Rapid City Journal sports writer tonight here on SD Sports Buzz tonight. How about Rapid City Central boys? 3-7. The record is struggling right now. They don't have Caleb Walton Blandon. That's a playmaker. That's a guard that they need. They could get him back here. What about Rapid City Central? It seems like they've just been up and down here. They lose big to Sturgis, but, they beat Gillette, and then they come back and they play Sioux Falls Roosevelt this past Saturday. They beat them, even though Roosevelt hasn't won a game, but just kind of up and down. What's your take on Central here, especially, how good can they compete, especially when they get that guard back?
Well, if they get Caleb back, that's going to change things a lot. Whether or not it makes them a contender, I don't know, just because right now they're pretty offensively challenged, to put it bluntly. They struggle. Dylan Hay has a nice score for them, but when they're struggling, they don't score a lot of points, and that's on any given day. If they can get that shot going, they can hang with teams. But if it's remotely not going, then they're in a little trouble. Good defense. They fight and scratch just like all Central teams do. It's just that they could use a couple scores there. Yeah.
What about the Sturgis boys? 8-2, good record. They can shoot it pretty well. They didn't play well against Stevens. That was kind of a benchmark game we were all looking at. We were wondering. There was a great crowd. They had great records. Everyone said, if Sturgis can compete here, then I think they're right in the thick. They didn't play well. They didn't really compete in that game. But I'm still not bailing on Sturgis. What do you think of them? And they get a big matchup tomorrow night against St. Thomas More.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a nice game tomorrow night. Unfortunately, that's the only time I saw Sturgis play this year. It was against Stevens, and they did struggle. Now, I can be wrong on this, but I think I did hear that they didn't have all their weapons, but I'm not sure about that. So don't quote me on that, and if you can on the radio or not. But anyway,
I won't quote you. Okay, we won't put that in the paper. Okay.
But unfortunately though, that's the only game I can base anything on. I mean, there's other times when I see their box scores, it's like, wow, that's a nice win for them, and that's a nice offense. So if they're at full go, tomorrow night could be a fun game.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll ask you one more on St. Thomas More. The St. Thomas More boys have a really challenging schedule. We don't get to see them that much here because they're on the road a lot, playing a lot of these classics and everything. So we look forward to this game tomorrow night against Sturgis. But I really think St. Thomas More is still right there. Too many good players to not be in the mix in Class A.
Well, no doubt about it. They stumbled a little bit, against Madison. But you know what? Madison's pretty good. They always have been. They always will be, probably. Then they go back and beat Sioux Valley. So, you lose to a ranked team, and then you beat number one. So, I mean, it tells you that that's a team, that can be very good. I mean, they probably, will be right down there at the end, just like they always are. And I think it's going to be a situation where if they really start picking it up, which I think they're starting to, they could be one of the top 2 or 3 teams to beat, no doubt.
Yeah, I think so. St. Thomas More really, really good again. Offensively has had a tough time every now and then, but they played a strong schedule. Keep your eye on that game tomorrow. Sturgis, St. Thomas More, talking high school hoops locally with Richard Anderson, Rapid City Journal. You can read his coverage in the Journal and online. I'll let you run with this. You see this talk about 6-man football. We've heard a little scuttlebutt a little bit. 6-man football in South Dakota. They've had a meeting on it. They've talked about it. What would you think on that? I'm from Montana. I know you're kind of, you're a South Dakota guy, but you spent a lot of time in Wyoming. Montana, Wyoming, they've had 6-man football. Yeah. How about that? That makes sense here?
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the state goes for it. I think it makes sense. Now, the only problem is, and this is kind of a problem that we will have here in western South Dakota, is the travel situation. How many teams can we get if they want to do that? In western South Dakota, they're going to have to travel a day and a night just to play a game here. And that could be a problem.
Right.
Now, it is interesting. The 6-man game is, I've actually described that to people, and I says, you won't believe it until you see it. I mean, I don't even know what a good defensive effort would be in 6-man football.
Right.
It's almost like, well, where's everybody at? And then, boom, they run the ball and run off tackle, and they're on the outside, So it's like, I've seen a few games in Wyoming where they have their state title games, of course, in Laramie, and I remember seeing that first time they had it there, and it was just it was a track meet, and it was fun. I mean, it was a little different, but it was fun. And small schools. I mean, even when you struggle to fill a 9-man team, you know that, well, if we just had a couple more kids or played 6-man, it would be okay. And yeah, I'm all for that.
6-man football, the center snaps it and then goes out for a pass. I mean, that's kind of, that's the scenario in a lot of ways. I watched it in Montana. It is pretty fun football. There's a lot of points. People like that. People like offense. It'll be interesting to see how they can put it together. Would they have to get rid of a 9-man class? In my opinion, I think they would, just to geographically figure things out so teams aren't traveling so far. I mean, you have to have enough teams playing 6-man. It'll be interesting to see if this discussion continues. Richard Anderson, good stuff. Enjoy the weekend here with basketball and a lot of it coming up. Looking forward to it. High school, college.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on things. We'll get you back on. Thanks.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good night.
Richard Anderson tonight. Appreciate his time. Rapid City Journal sports writer here on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line on SD Sports Buzz tonight. Good to get him on. Coming right back, going out to USD, talking to their true freshman phenom. Yes, from Rapid City, Player of the Year, All-Stater from St. Thomas More, Kira Duffy, making an impact right away for the Coyote women on a really good team. What's her experience been like, and what's the goal of this team? Is it an NCAA tournament berth? They very well could be. Kira Duffy joins me live from Vermilion next.
At Farm Bureau, we know life insurance might not be the first thing on your mind today or any other day, but we also know that deep down, everyone wants to do the right thing for their family, and that means protecting what matters most. You might not want to think about life insurance right now, but right now is the right time to talk to a Farm Bureau agent. We'll make it easy for you. Farm Bureau agents make insurance simple.
Call me, Tom Berger, your Farm Bureau agent in Rapid City, at 348-3470.
Make the mountains your backyard. Make the lake your pool and the night sky your high-definition television. Stop by Dakota Discount RVs today and take a look at our wide variety of new and used fifth wheels, travel trailers, toy haulers, and more. We're sure you'll find something you love at a price you can afford. We take pride in our integrity and service long after the deal, so why pay more for good memories when you can buy with a comfortable, low-pressure, locally owned and operated RV dealer? At Dakota Discount RV, we can make your dreams come true at an affordable price.
3330 East Mall Drive, Rapid City.
In Rapid City, you've got a friend in real estate. Hi, I'm Ellen Roach. When buying or selling your home or property, Will Dixon is the man to see.
Will invites you to experience the Keller Williams culture. Whether you're buying or selling, he can assist you through the entire process with a free market analysis and advise you on all your options. Will handles all phases of real estate and has built a track record for success. Call Will Dixon at Keller Williams Black Hills, 390-1140, and let him be your friend in real estate.
Welcome back to SD Sports Buzz tonight, South Dakota's live and local sports talk radio program. Glad you're a part of it. Locked and loaded lineup tonight. We are rolling through a lot of basketball talk tonight, as you might expect. Nate Brown in the studio on 106.7 FM, Kim Talk Radio, and the online stream, wherever you may be. You can watch us at sdsportsbuzz.com through our YouTube stream right there. And a reminder, go to sdsportsbuzz.com tomorrow for all the interviews from tonight's show. So all the interviews archived right there. we retain the archive rights, and we put them at sdsportsbuzz.com, all the interviews from tonight. If you miss anybody live, go there tomorrow. Coming up, we'll talk to Dr. Dan Swartos. He's the new executive director of the High School Activities Association. He'll be going from McCook Central Montrose, where he's the superintendent, now hired to take over the Activities Association with a lot of challenges, a lot of topics ahead for the Activities Association. We'll talk to Dr. Dan Swartos coming up in his first interview. I want to go out to Vermilion and USD with their true freshman who's making a great impact for the Coyote women's basketball program. Just saw her play over the past few years at St. Thomas More. Did a great job, an all-state player for the Cavaliers and led them to state titles, and now making an impact as a true freshman on a 17-3 Coyote women's basketball team at USD. It's Kira Duffy joining us live on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. Kira, how are you?
I am good. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming on. I know it's been a busy time. We haven't even been able to get you on because this has just been a crazy schedule. I want to ask you right away, what's the, basically you've played more basketball. I mean, I compare this here. You've played more basketball through a season and practice and all that stuff than you would in a whole high school season. So you've already played more right now at this point. You still got quite a ways left this year. What's that been like? Has that been an adjustment at all?
I mean, I think it definitely has. Obviously, every practice, every game is certainly, amped up a little bit. There's a lot more intensity and stuff. So that's been a big adjustment to have to make. But then, the travel schedule, the playing, 2 games a week almost every week, it's crazy, but it's been really fun. And to get to travel to all these different places, it's certainly been a great opportunity.
You talk about the road games. You're 17-3 overall, 6-1 in the conference. You're 9-0 at home, 3 losses on the road. Does it make a big difference playing on the road in college?
I mean, I think it certainly presents a little bit more adversity when you have the whole, all the fans cheering against you. And we have such a great arena. I don't know if you've been down here to see the new Sanford Coyote Sports Center, but it is incredible. So I think, when we get to come out and play in front of our own fans in that awesome environment, it certainly, gets us really energized for the game. So that, I think, definitely kind of has an effect on how we play and kind of our record so far at home this year.
Kira Duffy doing a great job, really an impact player for the Coyote women's basketball team as a true freshman. Now, I have to ask you, you go to USD, you were recruited by a lot of schools. You decide to go to USD. Your sister's there, Caitlin. That's obviously a great thing for you. But did it play a factor in thinking that, hey, I might get to compete and play right away? Or has this been something that's kind of just come into its own? I mean, you're basically one of the main players that they're relying on right now. Did you expect that? Not really, honestly. Coming in, it was, kind of hard to know what to expect. We had a new coaching staff. We graduated a lot of seniors. So I was just, kind of the mindset I'm going to work hard and, hopefully get some playing time this year. And unfortunately, obviously, we've had some injuries, Caitlin being one of them. And that's kind of given a lot of us freshmen the opportunity to play more, and kind of get acclimated to playing at this level a lot sooner than I think we would have expected. But so far, I mean, it's been great. The older girls are so good to us, helping us through. They know the kind of struggles that you face when you're a freshman. So they've been really awesome. And the coaches, too, just in kind of getting us ready. And I think throughout the year we've been, progressing, and it's gotten better. And hopefully kind of the freshman nerves are a little more shaken off. Kira Duffy, one of the starters for the Coyote women's team, as a true freshman, averaging 11 points per game. She joins us on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. They are 17-3. What's your feeling like with this team? I mean, this is a program here that has had success. Went to the tournament a couple of years ago. Great success in the NIT last year. You guys off to a great start. You've played some big-time Division I teams. What's the feeling like of how far this team can go?
I mean, I think we have a lot of confidence going forward with the rest of the conference season and into the conference tournament. But right now, definitely our coaches are really emphasizing, take every practice as it comes, take every game as it comes, because, each one is an opportunity for us to get better, and every, the next thing that we're approaching is the most important. So our game against NDSU tomorrow, we're looking for a little revenge, and that's certainly kind of the most important thing on our radar right now.
I'm looking at your stat line here, 33% from the three-point line, and your head coach said, you shoot the three well, but you can do a lot of other things well, too. How are you trying to expand your game at that level?
They've been doing a lot with every player to kind of develop skills in every area. That's something that we really emphasize, especially with our offense, that every person kind of has the opportunity to create, to shoot outside, to drive. So that's certainly, every kind of area of the game has been something that they've really been working with me on. And then defense especially, that's something that's had to improve a lot since coming to the college level. It's just everyone's more intense, more athletic, and that's definitely been a big adjustment.
Toughest question for you, because this is a tough one, okay? Has it been, you're playing right away, you're doing a lot of things well. You had a little stretch there, shooting slump. Things weren't going your way, a little stretch at the beginning of the conference season. It seems like you've come out of that now, the last few games. Has it been easier than you expected or harder than you expected at the college level right away?
Oh, that is a tough question. I guess maybe harder. I think it's just kind of different than what you expect. I think until you really experience a college season and all the ups and downs and everything that kind of goes with it, it's hard to really know what you're getting yourself into. But it's honestly been awesome. Every, ups and downs, everything has been worth it because it's just been such a fun season so far.
How tough has it been to deal with, your older sister, your leader there, Caitlin? She's hurt. How tough has that been? What's that been like?
It's certainly been hard. We were really excited to get to play together. That was definitely something that I was looking forward to when coming here. But she is just awesome, has been setting such a great example, and does so much even from the sidelines. Like, it's constantly, picking me up when things aren't going well, and, is my biggest supporter and confidant. Yeah, even though she's not playing, to have her here has just been amazing.
I can imagine that. St. Thomas More star Kira Duffy had a great high school career, now off to a good start as a true freshman in double digits, averaging double digits for a Coyote women's team that is 17-3. You talked about it, the Sanford Coyote Center. That's been a fun experience. What's that been like?
Oh, it is so nice. I never got the opportunity to play in the Dome, but I'm sure that was great. But those girls who did said this is just unreal, especially in comparison. Just like the environment that it creates and all the fans support. It's just to be able to play in South Dakota is just an incredible experience. I knew I wanted to stay in my home state, but I didn't really know what that meant until I came here and was able to really stay and have the home feel of South Dakota fans. We do have the best fans here. I may be biased, but I think it's true. I
love South Dakota pride. I really do. A lot of kids, sometimes they want to leave South Dakota. They want to do this, which is okay, but I like South Dakota pride. By the way, St. Thomas More pride. The St. Thomas More girls, just untouchable, it seems. Again, they had one close game. They got through it. Looking to win another state championship. Mm-hmm. I know you got a sister there coming up again. What's your opinion on this year's team? Have you kept an eye on things at all?
I've definitely been trying to keep an eye on them. I actually got to go to one of their games when they played at T, but no, they're doing awesome. It kind of made me sad, a little nostalgic watching them play. I kind of missed everyone and missed being a part of the St. Thomas More family, but no, they're having a great year. I'm excited to see how it ends up because I think they could do some big things.
Could win another state title. That's just my prediction. You didn't throw it out there, but I think they're on their way. I think even though they don't have you, there's still a lot of good players in the program. Kira Duffy, having a great season. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll talk to you again. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, Kira Duffy tonight joining us, stepping away from the men's basketball game. The men are playing right now at the Sanford Coyote Center. We appreciate her time taking a little break and giving us a perspective of her first year as a USD Coyote on a great team, making a great impact. And we're talking 11 points per game, close to 5 rebounds per game. Impact players as a true freshman going from St. Thomas More to, and we're talking not just, playing college basketball, playing on a high level women's college basketball team at USD who is 17-3, 6-1 in the Summit League. on their way to a potential NCAA tournament berth. Great success story there. Good luck to Kira Duffy from St. Thomas More the rest of the way. And, of course, her sister is Caitlin, who's a senior, injured this year, but I believe will be back and ready to go after that injury. We come right back and talk to the new executive director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association. He takes over for Wayne Carney, who was in that spot for, I believe, 15, 16 years. And Dr. Dan Swartos, coming from the McCook Central Montrose School District as the superintendent, now taking over the Activities Association. What are his thoughts on the challenges and the steps moving forward for high school athletics here in this state? We'll talk to Dr. Dan Swartos next.
Kick off the new year with a new truck from Rapid Chevrolet. Lots of new, used, and certified trucks to choose from starting as low as $6,983. This week's deals. This 2011 was traded from our customers in Faith, South Dakota. It has been well cared for, priced only at $12,983. This 2014 Silverado was traded from our customers in Piedmont, South Dakota. It's only a one-owner vehicle, priced only at $19,983. Your new road and new year starts here. Feel the difference at Rapid Chevrolet. I-90 exit 60 or shop, click, drive at rapidchevrolet.com.
Dale's Tire and Retreading has been providing quality brands of tires and excellent service to the Black Hills area for over 50 years. Dale's Tires sells tires for cars, trucks, SUVs, agriculture, construction, and more. Dale's Tire has what you need when you need it and offers appointment times to get you in and out faster. See the experts at Dale's Tire and Retreading. 2 convenient locations in Rapid City, 691 Deadwood Avenue and 3200 Campbell Street. Dale's Tire and Retreading. Real South Dakota sports talk for real South Dakota sports fans. This is SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown on Kim Radio. Talk that matters. Listen to what Pro Auto Care customers have to say.
I go to Tom because he's there for me. I have 7 vehicles on the road on a daily basis, and I know that if something goes on, he'll fix it. He'll fix it right the first time, and if we have an issue with a part, he'll stand behind it. I mean, if we had a part fail that he installed, he'd get the new part and he would install it again, and I'd only pay for it once. Everybody that I know that needs work on their car, I say this is the only place I would go.
Pro Auto Care. Phone 342-0857, 1891 Rand Road, Rapid City.
And we're back on SD Sports Buzz Tonight, South Dakota Sports Talk radio program, live on 106.7 FM, Kim Talk Radio. Glad you're a part of it. And also online, streaming at sdsportsbuzz.com, South Dakota's #1 sports website. The show streaming right there, so if you can't listen all the time on the radio, wherever you may be, your laptop, mobile device, you can bring up the stream through our YouTube channel at sdsportsbuzz.com, featuring South Dakota's biggest sports newsmakers. And coming up, we'll preview a big matchup in high school hoops tomorrow night. Great matchup in Sturgis, where the St. Thomas More Cavalier boys, one of the top-ranked teams in Class A, taking on the 8-2 Sturgis Scoopers. This is kind of one of those tests for the Scoopers. They haven't had really strong schedule, but there's some quality wins in there. Aberdeen Central and Rapid City Central, and big win for the Scoopers over Rapid City Central in double digits. So interesting game tomorrow. St. Thomas More, Sturgis. We'll preview it with both head coaches straight ahead. College basketball this weekend as the South Dakota Mines Hard Rockers at home this weekend. 2 big RMAC conference matchups as the South Dakota Mines men on the verge of making the postseason tournament with a month to go. The Hard Rocker men 10-10 at home Friday and Saturday. We'll talk to head coach Jason Henry on tap. Here's something I've been wanting to do since I heard this happen. A new executive director for the South Dakota High School Activities Association has been named. He's not going to take over till this summer, till July, but he has been named, and I'm sure preparing as he finishes out his school year at the superintendent of the McCook Central Montrose School District. The new executive director of the Activities Association is Dr. Dan Swartos, and he joins us live on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for your time tonight. Congratulations on the selection. First question is, you've been a superintendent there at McCook Central Montrose. I know you have a lot of pride in that school district and leading that school district, coming from leading a small school district in South Dakota. What made you interested in becoming the new executive director of the Activities Association?
Sure. Well, it's actually I'm with McCook Central. Montrose still has their own school district, but and then we have a sports cooperative with them,
right,
where we participate in all the sports. So I really enjoyed it here at McCook Central. I applied for the job. You know, I've had a background with coaching, wrestling and football, and I've got quite a bit of background with the arts as well. So it was something that had always kind of been in the back of my mind. And then when Mr. Carney announced his retirement, I thought about it quite a bit, and I thought about it all the way up until the deadline to apply, and I just decided that it would be a fun opportunity, challenging but fun, and it would be a different way to serve the students of South Dakota. So I decided to give it a try, and I was fortunate enough to get picked and selected for the job.
Yeah, it's going to be challenging. Like you said, it is challenging. I think a lot of sports fans, parents, the member schools, there's a lot of topics, a lot of things people talk about. I just want to run through a few and kind of get your take. I mean, you're going to, I'm sure, be drinking from a fire hose like we kind of all are when we start a new position. But one of the things is South Dakota, the population, the schools. You're at a small school district, so to speak, McCook Central. You talked about the co-op you have, 4 activities on the sports side with Montrose, and there's been more co-ops, and now there's discussion of, well, certain schools, you know, are we going to have to co-op with this school, and it's 35 miles away, and how are we going to make this work, and all of those things. It seems like the population hubs, we have one out here, Rapid City, Spearfish, Sturgis, this whole area out here. Then you got the I-29 corridor, Sioux Falls and Watertown, Aberdeen, that whole scenario. The rest of the state, a large portion of the state, rural, small. How are we going to make things work here? Especially, I'm interested on the sports side with, namely, the talk is about football, because you're trying to figure out 9-man, 3 classes, and now you got the 4-man, or the 4 classes and 11-man, and now there's talk about 6-man football. Is that one of the biggest challenges in your mind, is the enrollment on the football side, the sports side of things right now?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like you said, we're in a kind of an interesting position as a state, where we've got a handful of schools that are growing and growing quite rapidly, and we've got quite a few schools that are declining enrollment, and then we've got a bunch in the middle that are kind of just trying to tread water and stay where they're at. So it's hard to compare in terms of football classes. You know, people say we have the same amount as Minnesota, and they have so many more kids. Well, we also, you know, we still have the same sort of disparity between our biggest schools and our smallest schools that other states do. And it's hard to compare. You know, you can look at Wyoming, but I think they only have 40-some high school football teams. We have 137 here right now. So it sounds great to say, oh, we should cut back on the classes, but unless you're willing to put 40 to 50 teams in a class, it's hard to really do that. In terms of the 6-man talk, that's something we're going to have to look at. I'm not, on the surface of it, I'm not opposed to it. I would rather, if we were to do that, I'd rather not add a class. And I think we have to start by seeing how many schools would be interested in that, and if there's enough to kind of have that replace the 9B, and what that would do for the 2 remaining 9-man classes in terms of team numbers. But that's, we've got, you know, we'll have to start looking at that right away and start putting things together. The problem with that, and especially with football, is everyone kind of looks at it from their own standpoint, and it's hard to look at it as a kind of a statewide thing, and what's the best thing for football as a state. So we're definitely going to have to get a bunch of different viewpoints from schools of all sizes, and with the 6-man, just try to gauge and see how many we think that would actually do. And it might be more than you think, and because there's some schools that are combined together that might say, well, we'll try it on our own, and then all of a sudden you've got 2 6-man teams instead of 1 9-man team. So it would create more football teams in our state when we already have 130. I think there's 137 teams right now with the last classification numbers.
But you think it's a serious? You think it could be a serious thing to look at? I mean, Doug Schauer, the AD at Faith out here, was one of the main proponents, one of the guys talking about it. It was on the agenda at a meeting here this past fall, and you think it's something you got to look at? I
know Faith brought it up, and I think it's something we have to at least look at. I don't know if it's something that we'd be able to get in before the next classification or not. But at the end of the day, we've got some 9-man teams that are trying to play with 12, 13 kids on the team, and that gets hard. And then you get a few injuries, and that team ends up forfeiting a bunch of games, and that's not good for anybody.
No.
So I think it's something we have to at least look at and scratch the surface on it and see how many schools would be interested in even doing it.
Sure.
That doesn't mean that we'd absolutely do it or that we wouldn't do it, but I think we have to at least look at it and then see what that would do in terms of the classifications or how that would affect everything else.
Understandable. Dr. Dan Swartos, new executive director of the Activities Association. He's been named, not going to take over till July, for Wayne Carney, who's been with the Activities Association since 2001. Dr. Dan Swartos, the superintendent right now at McCook Central School District, joins us on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line, talking about other things for the Activities Association. A couple more, and I'll let you run. What about this? What about this state tournament scenario? The state events, as a matter of fact, a lot of these state events have been rotating around, and there's always been a little bit of talk of, well, should we put state basketball tournaments, for example, in one place in Sioux Falls or in Rapid? There's been talk about that. Some of these smaller communities, and I mean smaller meaning Huron, Spearfish, Brookings, some of these places say, we like having the basketball tournaments, the Class A tournaments, the girls and things coming through here. What's your early take on that whole scenario of rotating the tournaments around?
Well, I think they've done a good job with it so far. I know I've heard from a couple people from Aberdeen already who are wanting to get the state wrestling tournament back up there. It's a big thing for some of these towns, like you talked about with Mitchell and Huron and Spearfish and Watertown and the Brookings and towns of that size. And I think that the Activity Association did a good job putting a sort of a site selection committee together and getting input from a lot of different people. But that's something that I'm going to have to learn a lot more about, to be honest with you, and learn a lot more about the history with it. I think that there's value in kind of, and I think there's sports where some of those smaller communities can still host and do a very good job with it, and it provides a lot of economic benefits to those towns. And then there's some sports where, quite frankly, they get too big for some of those venues to hold them. So when you're talking about football is going to be in Vermilion, we know that. But when you're talking about basketball and wrestling, those are two big events. So that's something we're going to have to take a look at quite a bit. I think the site selection committee that they put together has done a pretty good job with that. But I'm going to have to learn a lot more about that before I have any true hard feelings on it.
What do you know, Dan, about the efforts that Wayne Carney started and really has progressed, the South Dakota High School Activities Association Foundation, a foundation that they're trying to get some dollars in to try and enhance things? What do you know about that? What's going to be the focus on that? Coming from a superintendent perspective, I think the vast majority of the superintendents in the state support the idea of the foundation, and I think there's a lot of support for the foundation and the concept of it. I think where it gets tricky is how you fund it, and if you're using ongoing revenues to put money into the foundation or corporate money to go into the foundation, then that money's going to have to get replaced somewhere, and it'll probably come from school districts. So that's a balance that you have to make, where if you're going to start charging school districts for things that the Activities Association has generally covered, like catastrophic insurance and postage and things like that, for the sake of adding money to the foundation, there's some work you got to do there with the school districts to make them see the value of it. What's the foundation benefit? What's the foundation focus?
I think right now they're trying to build the foundation up. I think their goal is to get $5 million in there, and then from that, their goal with that would be to give back to the schools, give back to the communities. I know last year they used interest from the foundation to buy some AEDs for school districts. I think they bought 10 or 15 AEDs for school districts. Things like that. And then down the road, once the money's in there, to be able to reimburse the schools more for mileage for some of the sports where you don't get full reimbursement for some of those things right now, like cross country and golf and things like that. So once you build it up, you're getting a steady stream of interest from that money, and you're able to do more and give back to the school districts and do some more things with the community, with the communities around the state, things like that. It's just, right now, it's trying to build it up.
Sure, absolutely. Very interesting scenario for you, taking over an activities association that, like you said, you're interested in this and enhancing activities in South Dakota. I'm a big fan. A lot of people realize how important they are, and wish you the best of luck. I hope to get you on once you kind of get your feet on the ground and you get things cranking as you take over in July. Hope to get you back on the program and discuss more as you put your vision together here moving forward. Congratulations. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate having me.
You bet. Dr. Dan Swartos tonight. He's the new, been named the executive director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association, going to be leaving as the superintendent at McCook Central School District and taking over for Wayne Carney coming up in July. Appreciate his time. We come right back and talk college basketball with Jason Henry, head coach of the Hard Rocker men's basketball team. Great season right now. They're right in the hunt after a big win over Black Hill State last week. The Hard Rockers at home Friday and Saturday at the King Center. Two big matchups. We'll preview it as they are 10-10 going into the weekend. Jason Henry next.
Each South Dakota farmer operates differently, and that means that ag insurance should be as unique as every farmer in the field. Fisher Rounds & Associates gets to know you and your operation before we find a policy. That way, we can make sure you have the coverage you need. Contact Fisher Rounds & Associates and see what it means to have us at your service and at your side. Fisher Rounds & Associates, serving South Dakota farmers with offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Watertown, Sioux Falls, and Rapid City.
Paying 200, 2 and a quarter, 2 to the bid, 20 bomb, VP, money get 200 VP here, no 75, 275 now, 3.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson Auction Company. We can turn your property to cash. We can sell your personal property and your real estate at auction. A family business for 64 years and counting. We've sold several millions of dollars in property over the years. We're happy to consult with you on your auction plans. Let our selling experience work for you. Call McPherson Auction, 605-348-1369. Visit us on our web at McPhersonAuction.com.
Sold it here for $575.
How would you like to have your crown in 2 hours instead of 2 visits? Hi, this is Dr. Eldon Rice with Rice Area Dental in Rapid City. Technology is changing, and at Rice Area Dental, we are keeping up by using the latest state-of-the-art equipment. We offer crowns in hours instead of days. No more temporaries, no more multiple visits, no messy dental impressions, just same-day restorations.
Call us at 342-RICE. That's 342-7423. Dr. Rice Area Dental on Canyon Lake Drive, the dentist that makes you smile.
You're listening to SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown on Kim Radio. Talk that matters.
Quality and service first. Mel's Auto Body.
Hi, this is Kevin from Mel's Auto Body. In all my commercials, you will always hear quality and service first. 30 years ago, when my father Mel opened the doors, those were the words that he believed in, and those are the same words that we believe in today. At Mel's Auto Body, we take pride in your investment. We did then, and we still do today. Mel's Auto Body at 1755 South Valley Drive.
Quality and service first. Mel's Auto Body.
Your local Farm Bureau Financial Services agent Tom Berger in Rapid City realizes that farming and ranching is your livelihood, and he understands that. After all, the companies of Farm Bureau Financial Services were originally founded to serve the unique insurance and financial services needs of farmers and ranchers. Contact Farm Bureau agent Tom Berger in Rapid City to learn how he can make it simple to help you select the coverage that's right for you today and provide options for the future of your growing operation.
Call me, Tom Berger, your Farm Bureau agent in Rapid City at 348-3470.
Welcome back, SD Sports Buzz Tonight. It's Nate Brown live, 106.7 FM, Kim Talk Radio, and online streaming at sdsportsbuzz.com. A lot of hoops talk and some good hoops this weekend, Friday and Saturday at the King Center at the School of Mines. The Hard Rockers are at home, right in the thick with a month left in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference postseason run. The Hard Rocker men 10-10 going into the weekend. Western State comes in from Gunnison, Colorado, and Colorado Mesa out of Grand Junction. Big-time matchups for head coach Jason Henry and the Hard Rockers as they try and make the postseason tournament. He joins us on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. Coach, how are you?
Doing well.
Well, let's look at this, Coach. Big emotional win last week, the Civic Center Ice Arena. Really a great effort by you guys beating Black Hill State, and we talked about that. A great effort. Big win, and then just tough to put things together in a couple of days. Then you have to go all the way out to Salt Lake City to take on Westminster, and that's after traveling the week prior as well. How's that whole thing played out from a coaching perspective and trying to make sure you keep these guys energized and physically ready for the home stretch here?
Well, that's exactly, you hit it on the head. That's exactly right. It was a tough couple of weeks for us as far as the travel goes, and it almost felt like a couple of years ago when we were back in the independent time and bouncing around to different schools and getting home at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday and turning around and playing a game and then hitting the road again for a 12-hour road trip. So it was not easy. We're not about making excuses, but it was tough on everybody, and we didn't, find a way to get the job done, especially that last night out in Westminster after it was an emotional win, and it's always a very emotional game against Black Hill State, and we didn't do very good on the offensive side. Did actually some decent things on the defensive side, but bottom line is we've had a great 3 days of practice now, and that energy, that toughness, physically and mentally is there right now. I think, I'm excited about the weekend.
I want to get your mindset on this team right now. 10-10. I think you probably think, man, we this is college basketball, so it's tough to get them, but we wish we had a couple more right now. You'd be right where you want to be. 10-10. What's your mindset right now?
Well, you're exactly right. We felt like we could have got a couple more and, lost a couple 1-point games, 2-point games, and that kind of thing. But then again, we beat some of the top teams in the country, too. So, I wouldn't say expected to beat them, but we think we can compete with anybody at this time, and we're excited about those wins as well. But we did, I wouldn't say let them slip away, but we had some opportunities to get a couple more wins. But, going into this stretch, we thought if we could be 500 in the conference, 1 or 2 games under 500, going into this last 8 games, we thought we'd be all right as far as making the playoffs. With having 4 home games now, traditionally we've done a better job at home than we have on the road. But it's some very important games this weekend and next weekend because our last 5 games are on the road. So, we got to make sure that we take care of business at home. And like I said, I think our guys are mentally and physically ready for that.
Hard Rocker head coach Jason Henry on tonight. The Hard Rocker men's team at home Friday and Saturday. RMAC basketball at the King Center. Hard Rockers 10-10 right now, right on the verge of the postseason tournament run. You talked about these guys, and my perspective is not that they weren't confident the last couple of years, but you hit a wall here last year, especially injuries and things just went through a rough stretch. These guys seem more confident. It feels like they think they're going to be in the tournament.
Well, yeah, we're playing with confidence. I don't know if we think we're going to be in the tournament. We think we can win enough games to get there. But what thinking does for you is it gets your butt beat once in a while. So we got to make sure it's not just show up and play the games because we're far from that right now. There's a few teams in our league that are able to do that. But the rest of us aren't. It's like we say week after week. It's a very competitive league. Top conferences around, and you got to be ready. We have a couple teams coming off of a couple big wins coming to our place. They haven't won a lot of games throughout the year, but they're right in games, and the games that they have won are against some top competition in the RMAC and outside of the RMAC. So we got to make sure that we bring it every night, and we're running out of time for these seniors. I got 6 seniors on the team, and 4 of them have been with me now for 5 years, and this is what they've been playing for. This is when they went through the independent. This is when we went through the U2 transition, and now there's no looking back. So, hopefully we get great energy from them to start with. Our freshmen, they know they got some time in the near future, but you don't know that with injuries and those kind of things that we found out last year. So I think our guys have a great focus right now. They understand these last few games are very, very important for those standings, and it all starts with the games this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. Friday and Saturday, big games. Not only this weekend, you said it, next weekend you're at home. I think you kind of like where you're at right now, but boy, basically the final month of the season on the road. And it is what it is, but how challenging is that going to be?
Well, hopefully it's something that we can bring some energy and that kind of thing because we're playing for something. That's been the best part of this year so far is we've put ourselves in a position to look at the standings and talk about what if and what if this team wins and what if this team loses and those are great conversations to have because we just haven't had them for a number of years now with like I said, making the transition and not being in a conference, and then last year with the injuries, we were rolling a little bit to start with, and then we get a bunch of guys hurt and we lose 9-10 games in a row, and then got a couple guys back and one towards the end of the year. So we're building that confidence that you were talking about, and our guys believe we can beat about anybody. We've proven that. We beat the top teams, especially being at home, and as much as it's a tough stretch after these 4 games, if we take care of business in these 4 games, I know we're going to play well even on the road, into those last 5.
It's great to watch games that matter. These games this weekend and next weekend matter. Exciting basketball at the King Center Friday night against Western State and Saturday against Colorado Mesa. The Hard Rocker men's basketball team back at home at the King Center this weekend. Head coach Jason Henry. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, Nate.
All right, Jason Henry tonight has his team in place. It's been a fun season, and it's pressure time right now. It's kind of, that's exciting. Postseason basketball is coming up. The home stretch right now, final month of the season straight ahead, and 2 big games this weekend for the Hard Rocker men and women, actually. The Hard Rocker women at home, obviously, in the doubleheader Friday and Saturday. Hard Rocker women right there, too. Fun basketball coming up this weekend to the King Center. Head coach of the Hard Rockers, Jason Henry. We turn back to high school tomorrow night. A Sturgis-St. Thomas More boys basketball matchup that I'm really interested in. We'll get a preview from the Cavalier head coach, Dave Hollenbeck, next.
In Rapid City, you've got a friend in real estate. Hi, I'm Ellen Roach. When buying or selling your home or property, Will Dixon is the man to see.
Will invites you to experience the Keller Williams culture. Whether you're buying or selling, he can assist you through the entire process with a free market analysis and advise you on all your options. Will handles all phases of real estate and has built a track record for success. Call Will Dixon at Keller Williams Black Hills, 390-1140, and let him be your friend in real estate.
Make the mountains your backyard. Make the lake your pool and the night sky your high-definition television. Stop by Dakota Discount RVs today and take a look at our wide variety of new and used fifth wheels, travel trailers, toy haulers, and more. We're sure you'll find something you love at a price you can afford. We take pride in our integrity and service long after the deal, so why pay more for good memories when you can buy with a comfortable, low-pressure, locally owned and operated RV dealer? At Dakota Discount RV, we can make your dreams come true at an affordable price.
3330 East Mall Drive, Rapid City.
Your sports, your show. This is SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown on Kim Radio. Talk that matters.
Kick off the new year with a new truck from Rapid Chevrolet. Lots of new, used, and certified trucks to choose from starting as low as $6,983. This week's deals. This 2011 was traded from our customers in Faith, South Dakota. It has been well cared for, priced only at $12,983. This 2014 Silverado was traded from our customers in Piedmont, South Dakota. It's only a one-owner vehicle, priced only at $19,983. Your new road and new year starts here. Feel the difference at Rapid Chevrolet. I-90 exit 60 or shop, click, drive at rapidchevrolet.com.
We're back on SD Sports Buzz tonight, South Dakota's live and local sports talk show. Talking a lot of basketball tonight, as you might expect. Interesting game tomorrow night. Exciting game. Sturgis, St. Thomas More boys basketball. People have an eye on this one tomorrow night. And to give us a preview and talk about the Cavalier season so far, it's been a good one. Head coach of St. Thomas More basketball on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line, Dave Hollenbeck. Coach, how are you?
Doing good. Thanks, Nate.
I want to go back to your weekend last weekend. I look at this game, and it was really exciting by all accounts. The game in Mitchell against Sioux Valley goes down to the wire. You guys essentially get a buzzer beater. You win it 70-69 over a really good Sioux Valley team. Was that one of the better games you've played from your perspective this year?
Well, yeah, it certainly was offensively. We shot the ball pretty well. I think we had 12 threes, and Isaac Kortemeyer really did a nice job on the post. We beat them in the paint also in scoring. So, yeah, it was a good outing for us offensively.
I want to get your feeling on that because we talked about it last week. Offensively, every now and then it's been kind of a struggle. What came together? I mean, it helps when you make 12 threes, I guess, but what came together here, and what do you need to do to be consistent there?
Well, they ran some junk defenses at us and took Satter out of the game the first half. So we had some other guys that got some good looks, and they took advantage of it. So, we run into those opportunities once in a while where some other guys have to step up and knock some shots down, and we've been fortunate to do that. So, the main thing is we have to be sharp and crisp offensively. We run quite a few set plays, so we have to be good with our screens and good with our setup cuts and get open, so we can get some good looks.
Well, you did that against Sioux Valley. Sioux Valley is a team that I think is going to be there when it comes to some of the best teams in Class A. They are right now. They have great players. I think they're going to be there as they have been in Class A basketball the last couple of years. Does a win like that kind of get this team going a little bit maybe?
Well, I was hoping so, but, we went up to Spearfish last night, and we didn't get much done. It was a pretty disappointing outing, but I was hoping that would get us going, and I kind of figured we'd probably have a little bit of a letdown, but I didn't expect it to be as bad as it was last night.
Well, you look at it, I say, get you going. Coach, you're still 10-2 here. I mean, this is a good basketball team, a good season so far. Is it just not good enough yet for your standards?
No, we're a ways off from where we're capable of being, and we got 8 games left, so you hope we can get there in time, but time is running short, and we've got some things we have to work on and get ironed out. Hopefully we can get there.
St. Thomas More head coach Dave Hollenbeck on tonight. They beat Spearfish last night by 15, 55-40. Sturgis tomorrow. Let's talk about that matchup here. Sturgis is 8-2. Seems like they've put a pretty good season together. Some quality wins mixed in. Some teams that haven't been so good that they've beaten too. What do you think of Sturgis tomorrow?
Oh, they're very talented. They're just very capable of going off from the three-point line. They've had a game where they've had 17 threes. I think they've made at least 10 threes all their games except maybe 1 or 2. So they're very deadly from the three-point line, and they're not shy about it. So you have to get out and guard them, and they're also good ball handlers, so they're quick and they can put it down. So we're really going to have to be on our toes and be ready to defend.
What was the message last night after that game? You said it. You struggled early. You ended up beating Spearfish by double digits there second half. Struggled for that first half, really. What was the message last night to get your guys focused in for a harder challenge tomorrow?
Well, last night I was so damn mad I left. I mean, we didn't even talk after the game, so we just went to the locker room and went home. There was no talk, but tonight we had a pretty good practice, and hopefully we got some things ironed out, and we have to be better on the boards. We didn't rebound last night, and we didn't play very good defense. So, I mean, those are 2 key components if you're going to be anybody very good, and Sturgis is good.
People looking forward to tomorrow. I am as well. Sturgis taking on St. Thomas More. The Cavaliers are 10-2, one of the top-ranked teams in Class A under head coach Dave Hollenbeck. Coach, I appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Dave Hollenbeck tonight giving us some time. Always enjoy having him on. One of the best coaches in South Dakota. Great stretch for the Cavaliers over the years. And this year, I think, a top contender. But a little up and down right now. Keep your eye on that matchup tomorrow. Sturgis, St. Thomas More. Maybe the biggest game tomorrow to keep your eye on. We'll talk to the Sturgis head coach on the other side, head coach Colin McCampbell of the Scoopers. He'll join me live next.
Dale's Tire and Retreading has been providing quality brands of tires and excellent service to the Black Hills area for over 50 years. Dale's Tires sells tires for cars, trucks, SUVs, agriculture, construction, and more. Dale's Tire has what you need when you need it and offers appointment times to get you in and out faster. See the experts at Dale's Tire and Retreading. 2 convenient locations in Rapid City, 691 Deadwood Avenue and 3200 Campbell Street. Dale's Tire and Retreading.
The reason I go to Pro Auto Care is they're always good to me. They've been my mechanics for 6 years. I take it in on a regular basis for the oil changes, things like that. If they find something else wrong with it, they let you know, hey, you're going to need this done, or you might want to consider doing this. It's not oh, you need this done now. It's usually you can plan for it. They are the best. Wouldn't trust anybody with my vehicles but Pro Auto Care.
Pro Auto Care. Phone 342-0857, 1891 Rand Road, Rapid City. Getting you inside South Dakota sports. This is SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown on Kim Radio. Talk that matters.
And we're back on SD Sports Buzz Tonight. A lot of coaches, a lot of sports newsmakers on the program tonight, just rolling through, getting you the goods for the upcoming weekend. Big basketball game tomorrow night. I've just previewed it with St. Thomas More head coach Dave Hollenbeck, and now I want to go to the other side with Sturgis, as the Scoopers will be at home tomorrow night in Sturgis, 7 o'clock. You want to watch this, I think. St. Thomas More and Sturgis. I've covered these matchups over the years since they've started playing again, and there's been some good games. And Sturgis has a good club this year under head coach Colin McCampbell. He joins us on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. Coach, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I want to get your take on this matchup here. You play a lot of teams, right? You play in Aberdeen Central, and you play Stevens in Central, Rapid City Central. So some big matchups, and then you mix in some of these smaller schools a little bit. So interesting schedule you have, but I want to get your opinion of the matchup against St. Thomas More. I don't know if it's necessarily a rivalry, but a lot of people, look at St. Thomas More saying, look at all the success they've had. This is a team that we circle on the schedule. Is it a team you're kind of interested in playing, excited to play?
Yeah, they really are. I guess my thought is I'm really interested in games that are, A, going to tell us something about ourselves and things that we probably need to fix, and B, kind of where we are at this point of the season. And I think St. Thomas More is going to, do that every time. They're going to be competitive with any team in the state. If they played, a lot of AA teams, they're going to be competitive in all those games. So that's what I look for when I get excited for a game, is like, am I going to learn something when I watch this film tomorrow, or are we going to have to try to figure out something? And then when other people see the film, how are we going to fix the things that we didn't do that well?
Yeah, it's interesting because I wouldn't call it, I don't know if I'd call it a rivalry, but, teams that play St. Thomas More over the years because of their success, it seems like they bring their A game. I don't know if you guys bring any more intensity here than you would in a normal game, but do the kids kind of get excited about, it's a top-ranked team in Class A, and you guys are having a great season so far? Kind of a big deal tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not like Stevens, Central, Spearfish, Douglas, because they're obviously in our district a lot of times, but it's a game we definitely get excited for. I mean, I guess I would think most coaches are probably similar to me in the fact that kind of the reason we coach is for that competitive situation and trying to get yourself in a competitive game with a good team, and St. Thomas More obviously qualifies with that. And they obviously create a lot of problems both inside and out. And I think our kids personally like playing, they like playing in those games too. Like you said, the number one team, Class A, they can beat anybody in the state on a given night, and we want to go up and, we want to see where we are on that night and give them our best shot.
Well, you've had a great season right now. Sturgis only 2 losses on the year. One of those losses coming to Pierre. We previewed this matchup last week, and then you went out to Pierre, lost by 13. Just your take on that game. You were, I don't want to say worried about it, but you thought it's a challenge. You got to go out there, see if we can grind it out. What was the challenge there against Pierre?
Well, it started out, they got up 20-3, so that was clearly a challenge. They shot the ball extremely well compared to what I had seen on tape, so credit to them there. I was extremely proud of our kids. We got back to 25-23, so, they put a 20-3 run on us, and we put a 20-5 run back on them, and so we're down 2, and then with about 2 minutes left to go, our sub pattern or whatever, I'll take the blame for that. For whatever reason, we were tired and had 2 bad possessions on offense, and then 1 really bad transition defense possession, and you know what, all of a sudden we're down 8, and then, we kind of, the last minute of the half, they hit a 3 and put us down 11, so just one of those things, and, we could get it to 6. We kept getting it to 6, and then they'd push it to 12, and then we'd get it to 4, and then they'd push it to 12, and then we'd get it to 8, and they'd push it to 15, and so, we just couldn't quite get over the hump, but that's the kind of stuff that makes you get better, you know what I'm saying? We had a couple kids get hung up on double stagger screens. That shows us we got to do a better job of teaching how we're going to guard that kind of action. We had some missed help side assignments against the post, and we're obviously going to need to have learned that by tomorrow because Quartermeyer's obviously excellent inside, and then, rotating back out to the perimeter because St. Thomas More creates that problem too where they have not only that great inside game, but they've got shooters all around them, so it's hard to determine if you're going to double, and if you double, how are you going to rotate out of it, and if you don't double, what are you going to do, and so it was a good game from that standpoint, but, I think it helped get us ready for this game a little bit, and we'll see how we react.
By the way, you bounced back that next day. You beat Spearfish handily, had to, play right again right away. Were you happy with how you came out of that and where you're at right now?
Yeah, I definitely was. It's kind of a weird thing going to Pierre on a Thursday night and you get home late, and then you think normally after that trip you're going to have the day off or, just to practice in the afternoon.
Right.
Where you don't necessarily, the kids can, it's not to say they're going to take it easy, but it doesn't have to be quite the same mentality of to have a game the next day. I really thought our kids reacted well. It's kind of been a weird year lineup-wise. The lineup I went into the year thinking was going to be our best lineup has actually only been available to us 1.5 games, which I guess is a credit to all those other kids that have been in the lineups and different lineups, but just due to, whether it's discipline reasons or injuries or sickness, we just haven't had everybody together that many times. And like I said, one of those kids went out and sprained his ankle this week too, so we won't see it again tomorrow, but I was really proud of this kids, and I was really excited when I saw that lineup, and we just kind of took off for about a 3-4 minute stretch, kind of how I thought we maybe would when that lineup played together this summer.
I'll let you run with this. Tomorrow night, we've talked about it a little bit. You've talked about St. Thomas More a little bit. What's the biggest challenge playing these guys tomorrow night?
Well, just the combination of inside-outside. Quartermeyer is just such a load inside, especially for us who, he's not only 6'8", like legit, in my opinion, maybe 6'9", but he's thick, too. He's a strong kid, obviously an excellent player going to School of Mines, and, as a School of Mines guy, I'm really excited to see that next year, but when I'm trying to game plan for him, you really got to try to focus on him, but then you got Satter, who's a deadly shooter from the outside, and then those other, 4, 5, 6 guys that come in, Maher, Arity, they can shoot it too. So it just, the inside-outside combination, it's just, you kind of got to try to pick your poison, and, we're going to pick ours tomorrow. We're going to see if it works. We saw a couple different teams try to do different things throughout the year, and I don't know that anybody's exactly solved the riddle exactly. We just got to hope we can kind of keep pace and score with them. But, just that combination of inside-outside where you have really good inside player and great shooters on the outside, it just makes it hard to double, things like that. And it's a challenge to try to prepare kids for.
Yeah, no doubt. You guys also lighten it up from the outside pretty well this season as well with a lot of good shooters. Sturgis, St. Thomas More, both teams only have 2 losses this year. Playing tomorrow night. Sturgis, head coach of the Scoopers, Colin McCampbell. Good luck, Coach. I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Have a great evening.
Colin McCampbell tonight. We'll watch that game tomorrow night. Head coach of the Sturgis Scoopers getting his guys ready for St. Thomas More tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. One of the bigger matchups here locally that we've seen so far this year. That'll be an interesting matchup. We come right back and talk to Chris Stabner, head coach of the Rapid City Stevens boys, who I've been very high on throughout the year. The Raider boys lose a tight one to O'Gorman. How do they bounce back, and what's the take on that matchup? Some people saying that matchup this past weekend, the Raiders and O'Gorman, was a state championship preview. Talk to Chris Stabner next.
Quality and service first. Mel's Auto Body. Get a drive-through estimate or come on in. We're right here under the big red M. Over 30 years our family has put quality and service first. We take pride in making sure you're satisfied. Quality and service first. Mel's Auto Body.
Insurance. We all need it to protect our homes, health, businesses, and belongings. But having adequate coverage is just the beginning. You also need the support of professionals who stand by your side to protect what's important to you. Fisher Rounds & Associates combines the coverage you want with the commitment you need. Fisher Rounds & Associates. At your service, at your side. With offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Watertown, Sioux Falls, and Rapid City.
And we're back on SD Sports Buzz tonight with Nate Brown, presented by Save-A-Lot Food Stores. Save-A-Lot for the best prices on groceries in Rapid City and fresh meat, discount prices. I'm telling you, get in there and take a look at their specials on steak, pork chops, roasts at Save-A-Lot Food Store. Save-A-Lot on East St. Patrick Street here in Rapid City. We're back with more guests tonight. We've had a jam-packed show, and appreciate everybody stopping in, giving us previews. A lot of basketball this week. High school, college. We've covered it all. Also, some great discussions with some people out East River. We even go out East River, especially with Kira Duffy tonight. Kira Duffy, the St. Thomas More star girls basketball player, all-stater, leading them to state titles now as a true freshman, starting for a really good Coyote women's basketball team. They're 17-3. Kira's averaging 11 points per game, 5 rebounds a game, starting all season long and having a great season. We had a great discussion with her. If you missed any of these interviews, my reminder to you is go to sdsportsbuzz.com tomorrow. You're not always busy at work, okay? So I can tell you this. Go to sdsportsbuzz.com tomorrow. All the interviews from tonight's show, they're always archived right there under each category. We've got high school category, college category, basketball, football, all the categories broken out, and the interviews right there. You can listen to each interview in its entirety on your own time at sdsportsbuzz.com. The archived interviews posted tomorrow. Rapid City Stevens boys basketball, I've been high on, been watching these guys throughout the season. They're 8-3. Game against Pierre I was looking forward to got canceled yesterday due to the snow. But now they get set for more basketball with Scottsbluff, Nebraska coming up, and then that matchup next week against Rapid City Central that we always look forward to. Head coach of the Raider boys is Chris Stabner. He joins us on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. Coach, how are you?
Good, Nate. Thanks for having me again tonight.
Yeah, I want to go back to this past weekend. You beat Roosevelt handily. A good effort there. Feeling good. But I go to your own words that you said, hey, on that second day, we haven't been great. I actually thought you were good. I mean, I felt like a heavyweight bout. It was back and forth against O'Gorman. You end up losing it by 6, a team that you beat out there. What was your take on the bounce back there from Friday night to Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were, for the most part, we were pretty good. I think it was obvious. O'Gorman kind of came with a game plan that they were going to dominate the boards, and they really did that, and that was kind of our downfall. I think we gave up 18 second chance points the second half, and when you do that, you've got to be nearly perfect at the other end, and we really were. I mean, we were really good offensively, but down the stretch, we weren't quite perfect. So that was kind of our where we lost the games on the boards, no doubt.
Some people saying that game on Saturday at Carroll Higher Gymnasium felt like a state championship preview. Well,
I mean, I hope we get another chance at them. That'd be great to play them in the state finals. I think it was just two good teams playing each other, and we kind of did some good things. They obviously did some good things, but in the end, they kind of made the plays and executed down the stretch.
I want to get your thought here because we talked about your ability at the guard position, and I think you got good athletes all the way around. You're not the biggest team, we know that. Pretty good athletes, some utility guys all the way around. O'Gorman's one of the bigger teams out there, right? Does it show you can win games the way you're at right now, no matter if people try and do this or that on the inside? I mean, is that kind of a proven point now?
Well, I think it just comes down to execution. Can we get stops and rebound with teams? And we did that, in Sioux Falls a couple weeks ago, and that's why we won. And we didn't do that the other night. Obviously, we still had opportunities to win. I think we were up by 5 with 2.5 minutes to go. So we're right there. But, if we can hold teams to one shot and get out and run as well, I think, we are tough to beat, and we can play with anybody. But if we don't do those things, at times we can struggle.
The Raider boys basketball team 8-3 under head coach Chris Stabner. This game against Pierre we were looking forward to. I thought that might be kind of an interesting matchup. They've been, pretty good at times, a little up and down, but it gets canceled. So now kind of a long stretch, longer than you're used to, trying to get dialed in. What does this allow you to do as far as, you don't play, kind of get dialed in on practice, or you kind of give these guys a little bit of a breather here to get ready for Scotts Bluff?
Oh, yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, we went through a month stretch there where we were playing a lot of games. We have a few bumps and bruises, so it was nice to get a couple days, kind of just get some shots up, walk through some things. But there's no doubt tonight we kind of got back into the swing of things because, for Saturday we're playing maybe one of the best teams we'll play all year in Scotts Bluff, and we want to go over there and compete, so we're definitely back in the practice mode.
I look at, the rest of your season here, still some challenges left. You got Rapid City Central, those exciting games coming up, and some other matchups down the road, but putting yourself in position, just trying to make sure you're right where you need to be in the district tournament when that starts, to put yourself at the state tournament. Mason Archambault said, hey, this goal, and he's one of your senior guys, our goal is to win the state championship. Is that something you guys talk about? Is that mentioned?
Well, obviously you have your big goals and your kind of short-term goals. And that is, obviously that's our ultimate goal, is to win a state title. But you've got to kind of take care of steps along the way. So we're just trying to take every game, and try to get better, working towards that end goal. But trying to get better every game, so we're playing our best basketball at the end. We're still a little inconsistent. We're a work in progress, which is okay. But as we kind of get down here to the last, fourth of our season, we've got to start getting more consistent. So we're playing that way going into districts to ultimately reach our, that goal of winning a state title.
What is the biggest thing you're trying to get consistent? What's the biggest thing you're trying to dial in on?
To be honest, I think it's more just the mental side of the game, is just really being there mentally. Physically, I think we've competed in every game we played. It's just sometimes mentally, whether we're just not sharp, we're not executing the game plan, we're a little inconsistent that way. And I think just getting some of our bench guys to be more consistent, so we can kind of know our rotation and know who you can kind of count on and know what you're going to get out of each player night in, night out. As a coach, that's what you ultimately want.
The Raiders stepping out of state this weekend, playing in Scotts Bluff, Nebraska, before they get set for Rapid City Central next week, and we'll preview that matchup next week. Coach, I appreciate you coming on. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks again, Nate, for having me tonight.
All right, Chris Stabner giving us some time, head coach of the 8-3 Rapid City Stevens Raider boys basketball program that continues to do some great things. Would have loved that big win over O'Gorman, but great game. It really was this past Saturday. They lose it just by 6. The Raider boys still on their way, right in the thick. I'll still say one of the best teams in AA boys basketball. Keep an eye on things as they go through the rest of the season. We'll have Coach Stabner on throughout the rest of the way as things starting to get exciting right now. We'll stay with Stevens. We'll go over to the girls' side. Another team I think that's, I don't know if they're surprising people or not on the girls' side, but I think they're right in the hunt. I really do. As the season gets in the thick of it here, the head coach, the first-year head coach, at the high school level anyway for Stevens, is Michael Brooks. He joins us live next.
In Rapid City, you've got a friend in real estate. Hi, I'm Ellen Roach. When buying or selling your home or property, Will Dixon is the man to see.
Will invites you to experience the Keller Williams culture. Whether you're buying or selling, he can assist you through the entire process with a free market analysis and advise you on all your options. Will handles all phases of real estate and has built a track record for success. Call Will Dixon at Keller Williams Black Hills, 390-1140, and let him be your friend in real estate.
In 200, 2 and a quarter, 2 to the bid, 20 bomb, 50, want to get 250 here, no 75, 275, now 3.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson Auction Company. We can turn your property to cash. We can sell your personal property and your real estate at auction. A family business for 64 years and counting. We've sold several millions of dollars in property over the years. We're happy to consult with you on your auction plans. Let our selling experience work for you. Call McPherson Auction, 605-348-1369. Visit us on our web at McPhersonAuction.com.
Sold it here for $575.
How would you like to have your crown in 2 hours instead of 2 visits? Hi, this is Dr. Eldon Rice with Rice Area Dental in Rapid City. Technology is changing, and at Rice Area Dental, we are keeping up by using the latest state-of-the-art equipment. We offer crowns in hours instead of days. No more temporaries, no more multiple visits, no messy dental impressions, just same-day restorations.
Call us at 342-RICE. That's 342-7423. Dr. Rice Area Dental on Canyon Lake Drive, the dentist that makes you smile.
You've got it locked on South Dakota's sports talk show, SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown on Kim Radio. Talk that matters.
We're back on SD Sports Buzz Tonight, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Nate Brown live, 106.7 FM, Kim Talk Radio, and online streaming at sdsportsbuzz.com. You can watch the show right there. You can also listen to all the archived interviews from this radio program. All the interviews, and we got a lot of people on tonight. Go to sdsportsbuzz.com tomorrow. Get your basketball fix. Really a lot of hoops tonight. College, high school. We run the gamut. All the guests archived at sdsportsbuzz.com. When you have a minute at work, do it while you're working, maybe a lunch break. Whatever. I'm not going to go that far, but remember all the interviews getting you previewed the rest of the week from all of our guests tonight. sdsportsbuzz.com. All those interviews archived tomorrow, including our next guest on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line, head coach of the Rapid City Stevens girls basketball program, Michael Brooks, on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. Coach, how are you tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing good. I look at it here. You won a couple in a row now. A lot of basketball over the past few days. We go back to Sioux Falls Roosevelt game. You lose by 5. That was a back-and-forth deal. You're right there. You lose by 5. What was the disappointing part of that, Coach? Was that one that slipped away there?
Well, there's no doubt. I think we were up at half, and we've had some trouble. I would say for us just staying disciplined in our approach. It's a new approach, and we had been in some tight games, and I think that one just got away from us. And we didn't deny like we usually had. We weren't rotating in our press, and they ran some great sets that got us confused a little bit on some of our switching, and we just didn't talk and touch and communicate and stay true to our discipline, and that really hurt us in that game. So what's been our catalyst, I think, is our defense, and it's really allowed us to get some easy things on offense, and they took advantage of our miscues. We still had a chance to tie it with the 3 with about 15 seconds. And then we ended up fouling. And, I thought we played well. We just didn't execute the game plan like we needed to.
I look at, earlier you beat Sioux Falls Roosevelt out there. They come out and get you out here. Then you come back the next day. You beat O'Gorman by 2. That was tight, too. Was that one thing you were happy with? Was the bounce back the next day? Were you satisfied with that?
Definitely. I think some coaches call those trap games. Games where you've beaten the team and you're on the road, so you think you can beat them, and you come off a loss, and you start questioning whether this is the right approach, or what did we do wrong? And I loved how we just snapped right back into the routine of coming out and being disciplined. And it was a tough week. You go off the court. We had finals that week, and
So practice is a little bit different because academics always come first. So, you got to have them focus on that. We had some sickness that was running through the team, and Rapid here, we've had some really bad flu symptoms, and, we just had a lot of things going on, and it was so important for us to come back that night and to play well. And I was just so pleased and so excited to see them make that change and get physical and really get after that team and come out with a win. And they were coming off of a win versus Central, so we knew that they were going to be hyped up and ready, and we were just glad we didn't let them get that sweep over here in Rapid.
I wonder if people watch you coach, you're a pretty positive guy, right? I mean, it sure seems that's your philosophy, positivity, energy, positive guy. How is this team taking to your coaching philosophy? And I know, coaches, you can get intense too, but how are you finding a balance with this team dynamic here?
I think it's just the understanding that, I've been at the highest level in college, and I've seen those women dedicate themselves in their lives, and I know what it takes to be able to make it to that level. And we have some young ladies that have been honest, and they say they want to get there. And what they need is someone who can guide them and show them the process and what it takes off the court and on the court as a teammate to be able to do that. But at the same time, I try to keep things for them to keep it so they understand that there's more to this thing than basketball. Life is amazing. There's so many things that come up, and this is a game that we're just blessed to be able to go out and be a part of. We have our mantra, and our mantra is it's not about you, it's about the team, and it's whatever you can put forth for the team. That's all we care about. So for me, I know that no player ever comes out and they're like, I'm going to miss 3 shots and have 4 turnovers. Like, I've never met a player who's ever said that, and I want them to know that I trust them, that I believe in them, and you're going to make mistakes, but as long as you're playing your heart out and you go as hard as you possibly can, then you'll make up for that mistake. And that's not what you're defined by. You're defined by what you do after that mistake. Do you hang your head or do you get back after it? And that's what we try to focus on each and every single day through practice, and then we hope it shows on the court when we play games.
Michael Brooks on tonight, head coach of the Rapid City Stevens girls. His team's 7-2, getting set for Mitchell and Scottsbluff, Nebraska this weekend. Over the couple of years, over the last few years, sometimes the chemistry there at Rapid City Stevens girls basketball maybe hasn't been great. The team chemistry, what's it like right now?
I think we have a cool mix of kids that, from Hando Vanderwerf, who's going to go play over at Black Hills, who's a really big-time Division II player. And then you've got, like, a Julia Hafes, who is just the heartbeat of our team. She'll guard anybody, do anything, run through any wall. And they've really opened up their arms, starting in the summer when I got here and got people in the weight room. We had 40-some girls at Open Gym in the summer, which I was just, excited and really, ecstatic about. And I think what they started has been carried over to the freshmen. We've got a big-time freshman in Kaya Watson who's been playing major, but I think it's their open arms and how they extended it and said, you come out here and play. You come out here and do what you can do for this team. And I think those people were the catalyst to even have some of the girls that questioned whether they were going to come back out and play. And, they just opened up their arms and said, let's roll. Let's play as hard as we can. Let's give this guy from, somewhere in Illinois a shot. And, I'm just so happy to be surrounded by these women. They're not girls, they're women. The way they hold themselves, the way they act, and how mature they've been through this process. I love our team dynamic that we've created, and I think winning has helped that. And we've just got to continue to take that confidence from each win and keep pouring it right back into the love that we have for one another.
Things coming together, Coach, and right in the